Hello everyone. Uh, in the mapping of African continent, we have already seen the islands, the water bodies surrounding Africa. Then in the second video related to the Africa continent only, we discussed about the mountains, plateaus, deserts, lakes and rivers of Africa. तो ऑलरेडी हमने लेक्स रिवर्स माउंटेन्स प्लेट्यूज और जो सराउंडिंग एरियाज हैं उनका डिस्कशन कर लिया है. नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द varied resources found in African continent. So let's draw the map first. So broadly this is the map of Africa. As in the previous continents, we discussed about the resources starting with the energy resource. So over here also coal से start करते हैं. Coal resource, coal reserves देखते हैं कहाँ कहाँ पर मिलेंगे. Coal deposits देखते हैं कहाँ मिलेंगे. तो the most important producer of coal in entire continent of Africa is South Africa. So this part of Africa, which comprises of South Africa, and some part of Mozambique over here. Mozambique, some part of Mozambique. Over here, if you can see, this part is Botswana. Along with this part, Zimbabwe. So basically, southern part of Africa is rich in the coal reserves as well as in the production. And as I told you, South Africa is the largest producer of coal in African continent. So this is the area where we'll find coal. Next, another important area where we have significant reserves of coal is Nigeria. If you remember, this country was Nigeria. So these two areas have significant reserves and production of coal in African continent. In fact, certain significant amount of uh, coal is found in Tanzania. If you remember, over here, this was equator. This region is Tanzania. In Tanzania also, the coal reserves have been found, and the efforts are being made in order to enhance the production in these regions. So अभी यहाँ production उतना ज़्यादा नहीं है, but यहाँ पे coal reserve significant amount में है. तो तंजानिया, केन्या, if you remember Kenya over here, so they have reserves of coal, but यहाँ production इतना significant नहीं है. Anyway, so next we'll see the oil reserves. Let me write the, okay, I'll create a separate diagram for oil reserves, क्योंकि oil reserves are significantly rich in African continent. So oil reserves, first reason would be, let me draw the map for it first. The most important reason where we have oil reserves is this part. So this is Gulf of Guinea region. Then if you remember, I talked about Niger river over here. This river, the delta of Niger river, if you remember Niger river, if you do not know Niger river, watch the previous video, the delta of Niger river. Then in the first video, I talked about equatorial Guinea and Gabon region. Gabon, if you remember, it was the country through which the equator was passing through. So this entire region has huge deposits of oil reserves. Then in the northern part, if you move over here, you'll find a gulf called Gulf of Citre, and this is called Citre Basin. So Citre Basin is again rich in oil reserves. Citre Basin. Then in fact, this part of Algeria, the Saharan part of Algeria is also rich in oil reserves. Okay, if you remember over here, we had one lake. I told you about the lakes as well. Lake Albert, Lake Albert, which was part of the Great Rift Valley lakes. This Great Albert Basin is also rich in oil reserves. So do remember at least the Gulf of Guinea part, जहाँ पे आपको नाइजीरिया मिलेगा, घाना मिलेगा, then Cameroon, then Gabon, Equatorial Guinea. All these countries are rich in oil reserves. Okay. Then in the central part, the Congo Basin. If you remember Congo Basin over here. So this Congo Basin in Gabon region, I have already written, I think. Yes. So Gabon and Congo region is also rich in oil reserves. Okay. Then coming to gas reserves. These all are energy resources. पहले हम लोग एनर्जी रिसोर्सेज देख रहे हैं, तो गैस रिजर्व्स देखते हैं. सो गैस रिजर्व्स के लिए फिर से मैप ड्रॉ कर लेते हैं. So gas reserves again, this Gulf region. So this Gulf of Guinea region, significant amount of gas reserves are present here. Gulf of Guinea region. In fact, if you know, this country is Algeria, this is Tunisia, and after this we have Libya and then Egypt. So this entire part, which comprises of Algeria, then Libya, then Egypt, this entire region is rich in gas reserves. So, and over here, the gas deposits are onshore as well as offshore. So, मतलब मेडिटेरेनियन वाले एरिया में जो कॉन्टिनेंटल शेल्फ है इन कंट्रीज का, in that area we have the gas reserves. Okay, then western part I have already shown you this Nigeria and the Ghana region. Nigeria is among the leading producers of gas in the world. So over here Nigeria do mention. Then come to the eastern part of the continent. Over here, if you remember, Mozambique started here and Tanzania was here. So these two countries, Mozambique and Tanzania, they have again significant reserves of gas. Okay, so these are the important areas where we have the energy resources in Africa. Now let's see certain metallic minerals, starting with iron deposits, iron ores. So again we'll draw the map. So iron ores, let's see the iron ores. So the most important region would be southern part of Africa. So southern part of Africa means South Africa, Zimbabwe and all. So let's see this part, which comprises of obviously South Africa, South Africa, Zimbabwe. If you see, this country is Zimbabwe. So South Africa, Zimbabwe region. If you know, there is a river over here, Limpopo River. Limpopo River is a east flowing river. तो जो लिम्पोपो प्रोविंस है, लिम्पोपो एरिया है, वहां पर we have rich deposits of iron ore. Okay, then coming to another region, this region, Gabon and Congo. Gabon and Congo. Congo means Republic of Congo, not that Democratic Republic. No, the Republic of Congo. Congo which shares coastal border. Anyway, so this Gabon and Congo region is again rich in iron. And if you remember, over here we talk about Guinea Highlands. So this Guinea Highland region has again significant deposits of iron ore. So Guinea Highland, obviously first country you should know Guinea. Then if you move further eastward to Guinea, you'll find uh, Sierra Leone. All these countries are there. Then Liberia you'll find further eastward. So over here Guinea, then this country is Sierra Nevada and Sierra Leone, and then this one is Liberia. So this region is again rich in iron deposits. Okay. Then if you remember Morocco, Morocco is also rich in the northern part of Africa. Morocco is rich in iron ores. Okay, so these are the countries rich in iron ore. Next, Africa is famous for gold production and diamond production. So let's see the gold deposits. Let's figure out the gold deposits. Gold deposits of Africa. So when it comes to gold deposits, the most famous region is this one again, gold. South Africa. South Africa is among the leading producer of gold in the world. It is not the leading, it is among the leading. The leading producer of gold is China. But South Africa is among the leading producer of gold in the world. So Johannesburg region is famous for gold production in South Africa. Then this country is Zimbabwe. So South Africa and Zimbabwe have rich deposits of gold. Then other than this Guinea Highland region comprising of countries such as Ivory Coast, then uh, another country is Ghana over here. So these countries, Ivory Coast, Ghana. Okay. If you remember, over here you'll find Burkina Faso. यहाँ पर. Then southern part of Mali is over here. So do mention these countries. Mali, Burkina Faso. These countries are rich in gold deposits. Okay. Then let's come to diamond production. Diamond production. So Africa is again famous for diamond production. So let's see the diamond production in Africa. So first reason is again the southern part of Africa, this one comprising of South Africa. Over here, if you have heard of something called Kimberley mine, Kimberley region, famous for diamond production across the world. South Africa में Kimberley mine region. So then Zimbabwe, Botswana. This is Botswana. This country, if you remember, is Namib. So South Africa, Botswana, then Namibia. Namib was the desert, I'm sorry. So Namibia. All these countries are famous for diamond production. They have rich deposits of diamond, so especially in the southern part of Africa. If you remember over here, I had discussed about a plateau called Katanga Plateau. जब मैंने माउंटेन्स प्लेट्यू इन सब का डिस्कशन किया था तो आई टोल्ड यू अबाउट कटंगा प्लेट्यू. So Katanga Plateau is also rich in this diamond deposits. In fact, Katanga Plateau is famous for copper production, cobalt production, diamond production, as well as platinum production. So next we'll see platinum production. Platinum reserves. So let's see the platinum. I'll write a fact over here first that South Africa is the largest producer of platinum in the world. So one thing is clear that the majority of the production comes from South Africa since it is the largest producer of platinum in the world. So let's draw the map. So this part is famous for platinum production, southern part of Africa, which comprise of obviously countries like South Africa, Zimbabwe. They're famous for platinum production. Okay, then with respect to platinum, I told you right away only that Katanga Plateau. Katanga Plateau, I told you it is rich in gold, platinum, copper, and cobalt. Anyway, not gold, actually, diamond is present there. Not gold, I'm sorry. Katanga Plateau is rich in diamond, platinum, copper, and cobalt. Okay, so these are the important minerals found in Africa. Obviously, I'm not discussing the other resources. For example, the resources related to agriculture, water resource, forest resource, biodiversity, richness of Africa. But obviously, if you get a question on resources of Africa, you should talk about those things as well. Okay, so thank you so very much. Have a great time. See you in the next session.